Hello everyone, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Amber Reads Romance. Today I am here with another trope rec video for you guys. I actually decided I wanted to do this one because I read a couple books recently with this trope and realized I hadn't done this yet. So if you love accidental pregnancy, surprise pregnancy, whatever you want to call it, this is the video for you. I'm going to go over, I think I have about 8 books that are some of my faves. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay guys, so I love accidental pregnancy. I read it a lot. And I just love watching a couple figure out how to be together. Maybe if it's accidental pregnancy from like a one night stand, or just going through that motion of getting pregnant together, you know, all that type of stuff. I love a man taking care of a woman while she's pregnant. It's just swoony to me. So I love this trope so much. So I love surprise pregnancy, not so much surprise baby. I might do a video for that soon too, because I do have some books that I think do that well and that I actually enjoy. So that may be coming soon. Let me know if you want that. But let's go ahead and talk about some of my favorites. So I'm going to start with my most recent one that I read, and that is Only for Tonight by Natasha Madison. Now, this isn't my favorite accidental pregnancy book I've ever read, but I did really enjoy it, and I've really started to love Natasha Madison. And this is the start of a brand new series. So this is the start of a hockey series, and this is between Jackson and Ariella. And they were actually grew up together. They're friends. Their dads were friends. I think they were both hockey stars too. I think they might be from a previous book series by Natasha that I haven't read yet. So I think this is kind of like a second gen type of situation. But Jackson and Ariella were like friends. They weren't like super close, but they grew up together. They weren't really ever like super attracted to each other, I think, because there's a little bit of an age gap in that situation. But they run into each other at a party and they're really hitting it off, and so they end up having a one night stand together. They do agree this is just, again, only for tonight because they live on opposite sides of the country. So they just want to have a fun time. But of course, she ends up pregnant. So she decides, and not the very best way to tell him, to just show up on his doorstep to tell him that she's pregnant with his baby. And he actually had broken up with his ex before they hooked up, but she's been trying to worm her way back into his life. And so she was actually there, like getting out of the shower in his shirt. And so it didn't look good to our heroine, so she kind of fled. But her friends and family talked her down, was like, not all her family, only one person really knew about it. But you need to tell him, you need to talk to him. So thank God this wasn't a secret baby situation. But so she does break the news to him. And what I loved about this was how well he handled it. And he really wanted to step in and be there for her and be there for the baby. What was kind of crazy was they like just fell right into being together. Like, so there's a lot of spice in this. There's like some long distance like sexting and different things, but you know, she kind of decides that she wants to be there with him, you know, and is gonna move there for him. So it's their kind of struggle of trying to get to know each other and be in a relationship. There is some other woman drama in this, so that was kind of annoying, and a little bit of miscommunications, but I still thought it was really good time. I actually listened to the ALC for this one just recently, so I really recommend the audiobook. So this one was a fun one. Okay, so the next one that was actually a more recent read for me, and that is By the Letter by Julia Wolf. This is one of my favorite authors, and I think this is the second book in the Mile High Billionaire series. This is between Roman and Shira, and this one really is a crazy and interesting setup because Shira actually hooks up with Roman. They kind of have this one night stand at kind of like a sex club situation where they have masks and don't know each other's Shira's names, because Shira is very shy and like socially awkward, and she was in a marriage with like an older man forever, and he had passed away, and she really wanted somebody to just like take her, and she had these fantasies. So she ends up getting set up with Roman, and they have this crazy, amazing night together. But I think the condom broke like on one of the many times that they were hooking up. And so he basically tells her, if anything happens, if the worst should happen or whatever, I'll leave my contact information at the front so they can get a hold of me. But things get more complicated because Shira is actually trying to keep her dead husband's company going, but it's not going well. And Roman actually shows up to kind of help get it on its feet and figure out how they can save the company. And he gets off to a really bad start with Shira. He thinks she's like a gold digger because the stepdaughter had like knew him and was like phrasing it that way. So he treats Shira really badly in the beginning of this book. So when things end up falling apart and, you know, things aren't going good between them, eventually she finds out like she's pregnant and left a message at that place. And so it does finally get to him, and he connects to that this is the Shira that he's been treating horribly. And so he has a big grovel to do. So he will get frustrated with Roman in the beginning, but he really steps up. He wants to be a father. He wants to be in this baby's life. And so he is willing to do all these like acts of care to help take care of Shira and kind of make up for how he was in the beginning. He even like buys the house next door to her because he wants to be closer to her. He'll like come clean out her cat box every morning so she's not doing it since she's pregnant. There's just all these sweet things that I really, really loved about this one. So this one was amazing. What else do you expect from Julia Wolf? It was fantastic. Okay, so the next one that I want to bring up is another favorite author of mine, and that's Bella Matthews. And this one is Breathtaking. And this is about Maddox Beneventi. Now, he's been one that I like, a character that I was waiting for forever. This is part of her like second gen series. She has multiple second generation series, and I'm sorry, I forgot to write the series name down on this one. I think it was Red Lips and White Lies. I can't remember though, so I apologize. But this is Maddox. He is basically like a mafia prince. His dad was a mafia don or leader or whatever. I still need to read his dad's book because he sounds really interesting too. But basically, this is between him and a real life royalty princess. We have Lennon, and she was close friends with Grace, which is part of their group. And so she actually had like kind of built a friendship with Maddox when she was hanging out with Grace a lot, when Grace was going to like, I think she was in Paris for like her ballet. And so they were really close, and she ended up building a really good friendship with Maddox. And they were really like falling for each other, but she was already set up in an arranged marriage. So, and she has to do this marriage. So she basically kind of like ended things with Maddox because they couldn't really go anywhere. And then she ends up having like a run-in with him one night when she's in their like little small town. And he kind of rescues her on the side of the road when her like tire, I think, went out with like a snowstorm or whatever. And they end up having a one-night stand. She really just wanted to have this amazing night with him, even knowing she would kind of have to go back to that arranged marriage. But she ends up getting pregnant. So what I love about this is she immediately goes to Maddox. She tells him the truth. She tells him what's going on. And he basically immediately steps up. But they have the problem of trying to figure out how they can be together or make this work because she's kind of forced into this arranged marriage. So this kind of ends up being a marriage of convenience too, because they're going to get married ahead of time real quickly, so that she's not forced into this marriage. And then when she obviously has the baby and stuff, she'll be married, and it won't be all this drama around that. And then she won't be forced to marry that other guy. So I just really loved this. Maddox was so swoony. He really steps up 100% and wants to be with Lennon, and they were very, very cute together. Okay, so then I have Love You Too by Stacy Travis. I loved this series because this series is like set at a winery, and I love wine. I love wineries. I loved the whole like winery vibe. They have like a resort there and all this kind of stuff. And this is between Beatrix and Dominic, who also goes by Ren. And they actually were in a relationship before, but he basically kind of had to choose hockey over her and kind of left her. He's plays in the pro NHL. And so that was kind of, that was like her college sweetheart that like broke her heart. And now he's like basically in town. He bought a house there and he's trying to kind of renovate it. His dog like basically runs into each other, and he kind of like tries to like, broach being friends or talking, and he takes her back to his place to show her like everything he's doing to the place and everything. And they end up having a one-night stand, which I'm realizing a lot of these are one-night stand romances. I think you'll get that a lot with accidental pregnancy, surprise pregnancy books. But they end up having a one-night stand. She wants it to just be like a one-and-done type of thing because she's really just focused on their resort and just taking care of her family in the resort and stuff. But she basically agrees to take care of his dog when he's traveling for hockey. And so they start talking a lot, texting a lot, and like really building their relationship. So when she finds out she's pregnant, she immediately tells him. And I really loved how fast that was. But Ren definitely does want to step up. Like, I loved that. There was no real miscommunication or drama around the baby. He was all in. He just had to figure out what the right balance was when he was 100% on hockey, and now he was going to have a family. So it was really cute. It's small town, winery vibes, summer vibes, and I love that one. Okay, the next one I want to bring up is Pain in the Axe by Daphne Elliott. And this one was actually the first book that I read in this main Lumberjack series. And I really loved it because it was a second chance romance between like a previously married couple and a one-night stand yet again, accidental pregnancy situation. So in this we have Gus and Chloe. And Chloe has returned kind of for revenge because her and Gus were married, and he basically kind of was manipulated by his father and chose the business over her and ended their marriage, and it like broke her heart. And she's become a very powerful, successful woman. And she basically has like bought up their family lumber business. And so, and it's kind of petty. It is kind of petty. She bought the family lumber business kind of for, shady reasons, maybe to get revenge on him and his family. And now he has to like work for her. And so she was like really like living it up. Like, I'm going to get revenge on him. Now he's going to have to answer to me. And she gets there and Gus is super friendly and happy she's there. And so she's very thrown off. She did not expect that reaction from him. So he's basically very welcoming to her, to the team and everything. They're both really attracted to each other still. There's a lot of unresolved feelings. And like one night they like end up hanging out and having like drinking wine together and having this amazing night, reconnecting and having sex all night. And she does end up pregnant. So now she's going to be having her ex-husband's baby, and that's where we're going to start with that one. So I really love this one. It does have some romantic suspense elements in it that were fun in this one, and it was great. I love like a previous married couple getting back together. I think that's great. And then them having the baby together was amazing too. Okay, so then I have Stay With Me by Brooke Montgomery. I really loved this whole series, and this one it's like a small town cowboy ranch type of series. It's fantastic, and this one is between Trip and Magnolia. Now, Magnolia had a huge infatuation crush on her best friend's brother, Trip, forever, since she was like a teen. But Trip always kind of like sent her mixed signals, like, and he just didn't feel like he could go there with her since, you know, she was his sister's best friend. And so they never really went there. So Magnolia has had like this on again, off again relationship with this loser boyfriend. And she has been trying to finally stay away from him for a couple years. And so she's really ready to kind of like pursue Trip and go after Trip. And he is like ready to pursue her. So in this, they basically start to finally pursue each other, start dating, seeing where they can go. But Magnolia had previously had a one-night stand with that loser ex, and now she's pregnant. And so now we have to deal with the surprise pregnancy from her ex. So this one's a little bit of a twist because it's not his baby, it's her ex's baby. And so yeah. So this one was kind of cool because it was like a slower romance because they didn't immediately get sexual. And I think she did that because she didn't want there to be confusion on who the baby was, like Brooke Montgomery did. But yeah, so this one was really cool because I love it when a man takes on another man's baby, and like how supportive and sweet Trip was through her pregnancy and just being there for her. So I loved it. Okay, so the next one I want to bring up is kind of hard to recommend because it is like the final two books. This is Rex and Rachel by Serena Akeroyd, and they are like the final books in her MC series. So I think it's in book 9 and 10. So again, like, I do recommend reading all of them, but I want to recommend this one because, you know, even though it's late in the series, I don't think a lot of people recommend this. This is, again, set in MC, and this is between Rex and Rachel. Rex and Rachel have very complicated history. They've been in love with each other forever. They have a lot of trauma from their relationship. This is kind of like a second chance because they ended things way back. But Rex has been biding his time trying to get Rachel back. Rachel is a really strong, very damaged heroine. She is the lawyer for his MC, and she was actually assaulted by his uncle and other MC members. So that really gave her a lot of trauma. So there is a lot of dark content in these ones. So it's not like a happy-go-lucky kind of story. These are darker, so I just want to warn you. But she did have a lot of previous trauma, and things kind of fell apart for them. But they still hook up. So they're always orbiting each other. They're always around each other. They can't stay away from each other. So they kind of just have this hookup situation. But Rex definitely wants there to be more. He wants to be with her. And at this point in the story, Rachel is ready too. So these two really are ready to be together. And then they actually find out that she was pregnant from one of their many times together. And so they're finally going to try and give it a go and make things work with them. They also have a daughter that's, I think, turning 18 that they had to give up when she was younger. She gave up her daughter for their daughter for adoption because she was not in a good place mentally for it, because again, this has a lot of trauma in it. She was assaulted by another person. So again, there's a lot of dark stuff in here, but it's really beautiful to see Rachel and Rex finally like come together with this pregnancy and want to do things right this time and really fight to be together. And it's beautiful to see like Rachel become like his queen, you know, and his ride or die for his MC. So I really, really enjoyed that one. Okay, so the last book that I want to bring up is Wicked Love by Willow Aster. This is the, I think, 4th book, if I'm remembering correctly, sorry if I'm not, of the Single Dad Playbook series by Willow Aster, which is like follows a set of single dads that are professional football players. And this one is about Bowie and Poppy. And Bowie is a single dad, obviously, of the sweetest little girl named Becca. She has Down syndrome, and he has kind of shut himself off from finding love after her mother had like abandoned her. And so he's kind of just put up those walls. Him and Poppy end up kind of having like a room mix up happen at the wedding, at one of their friends' weddings. And so they end up having a one night stand together. But Bowie kind of shuts things down a little bit afterwards because he freaks out and doesn't like, he's not fully ready. Poppy is like friends with all the other women in this, friend group. So she's definitely around, and so she doesn't want to make things like uncomfortable. But she does end up getting pregnant. So then she has to struggle to figure out how to tell Bowie that she is pregnant. I did love the way Bowie handled this again and how sweet it was. This is very like low angst, cute, sweet romance, and I loved seeing how she really connected to his daughter, and like it was just very cute. I love this series. I definitely recommend that series if you are interested in some good single dad romances. It is fantastic. So those are all the accidental pregnancies, surprise pregnancy books that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching this. Let me know any favorites you have so I can add them to my never-ending TBR. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment, and like the video. And I will see you guys on the next one.